Hello again and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we're looking at something a little bit different. It's another 1v1, but it's versus Tiger Roll and Notorious Nubs. Now, by looking at the stats here, Notorious Nubs is a relatively new player. So this may be more of a let's see what they're doing and try and help them out with what they're doing wrong. So if you're getting new to 1v1s yourself, you can kind of go, right, this is mistakes that I should avoid. So, as we look at the difference here, Notorious Nubs doing a very long walk here for the third mechs. Now, when we look at the metal points here, 1.9s, that's fair enough. That is quite a long way to walk, though, for just that. You also did a little bit of a walk here to get these wins. When wind itself currently isn't great. Probably could have built a solar and that could have changed that. As you can see now, he's got so much metal but not using it, and still hasn't got a factory up. Whereas we look over here to Tiger Roll, he's got two metals here into two solars and a windmill, which isn't really helping right now, and then into a factory. Now, a vehicle factory on only 2 metal extractors is quite tough, and as you can see, he's struggling now currently with not having enough resources. Especially with building solars on top of, which also require metal. But interesting enough, Nubs has now got his factory and looks like he's trying to decide what to do. And he is building engineers. Now, both players here, probably not the most ideal of starts here. However, where is he going with that? Going to expand, okay. And his commander is going that way. It's not a bad idea to expand. However, his energy is fine, so that's fine for now. Expanding is probably a good shout. Notorious still without the engineer. There we go. It's just Bill. Now he's starting to build more wind when energy is still not very high and he has lots of metal. Now, you need energy to build wins. We see here you need 175, whereas you need 0 energy to build solars. So right now he doesn't really have enough energy to build what he needs to build, so he should really be building solars because he has all this metal. And also now we're almost 3 minutes into the game, and he doesn't have a single combat unit and only has engineers because he's massively stalled in energy right now. So by not getting combat units out at all, you're letting your opponent basically have free reign on the map. And as you can see from the mini-map here, his opponent has started pushing out from his base, both south and to the right as well, getting additional mexes. And the longer this goes on for, uncontested, or without Notorious doing the same, you're just giving them extra metal. So you need to make sure you're expanding out of your base pretty early. Now he's also got 3 engineers, and he's only just started getting the energy to build it. Also, yeah, building construction turrets, wrong choice here. Massively wrong choice. He has no units to defend his base. He's just got 1 laser tower, and he hasn't left his base at all. There's 3 metal extractors here, 3 here, 3 here. And if he just defended there, he would have all of that metal extractors for his base. There's no point having this many construction turrets for the amount of resources he has coming in. Leave 1 engineer defending, not defending, but assisting your factory. Have 1 engineer expanding and 1 engineer building metal. Not metal, energy, sorry. And then have your commander expand the other direction, which is exactly what Tiger Roll did here. He had this 1 engineer go down from here to here, and his commander went the other way. If you start running out of energy whilst your commander is expanding, he can always build energy. And see, now he's having to try and use his commander here to stop this push by this single unit, which just isn't going to do anything. Which means Tiger's going to get 2 metal extractors, energy economy as well. He could have got a lot more than that. If Tiger Roll moved his guy here, the LLT wouldn't have been able to shoot it. He could have shot these laser towers and probably killed them. So now, because he hasn't expanded, he can't do anything. These construction turrets aren't able to build because he doesn't have the resources. And he's still just staying in his base. So, yeah. At the moment, Notorious hasn't expanded at all. Whereas, let's look over here. So, Tiger Roll. Still on vehicles. Hasn't built too much in the way of energy. However, when you look at the difference in economy here, substantial. Now, what is Tiger Roll doing wrong? Well, he has nothing assisted in his factory. In bar, the factories themselves don't have a great amount of build power. So what Notorious has done right in terms of building additional build power for the factory is good. However, Notorious just doesn't have the economy to support that. Whereas Tiger Roll here has the economy to support some form of assistance and doesn't have any. He's now just starting to get some. So it would have been nicer to have that sooner. What I tend to do is early game, you have 5 to 1. So 5 blitzes to 1 engineer. And then your engineer, you change the setting in your settings. I will maybe try and see if I can find it for you. Game. Building factory guard. This setting here. Okay. You want to make sure that factory guard for builders is... it's not letting me do it because I'm spectating this game. But factory guard on. Okay. That will make any engineers you build automatically defend the factory. Which, by defending, it means it assists the factory and starts assisting it by boosting its production. Similar to a construction turret. So that's what you want to do early game. Which means you can concentrate on your units, moving them around. And then when you've got some time, you look back at your factory and start doing stuff with your engineers. Now he's let just another single guy get through. Again, he has no units to defend whatsoever. And he's going to lose all of his economy again. I mean, he could have also just built a single laser tower like there. And that would have also solved this issue. Now in this instance, what you can do, select these construction turrets, press E and click on the enemy. That will try and reclaim the enemy if you don't have any units there to assist. Now again, losing all of his eco here. Warriors, Centurions rather, not the best choice. They're very expensive. When we look here, 270 as opposed to 48. He needs more just units on the field right now. And as you can see here, now Tiger Roll is not being exactly quick. He could have expanded to pretty much all of this by now if he had more engineers. Just build some units. Doesn't necessarily even have to attack. He could have just held off at that distance. And he would have been fine. That's not a big deal there. Even if he does lose that one unit. Then as we clear the map here. And if we quickly look at the stats, you'll see what I mean. So, Notorious is down by like 5,000 metal. Energy produced is fairly similar, but still Tiger Roll is ahead. Now, when you think about like also here of how many units difference, substantial unit difference here. And so when you combine that with units gives you map control, he's only just starting to leave his initial base area with his commander. It's not good. Not good at all. But if you're new to 1v1's, you have to learn somehow. And hopefully, by watching over your own replays when you play, you can see what the enemy does, and you can try and learn from your mistakes that way. I do highly recommend that if you are unsure what you're doing wrong. Also, feel free to send me your video. If you want me to go through what you're doing, like this player here, Notorious Nubs, I can show you what you're doing wrong, help you out. Bear in mind, I'm no, you know, ace at 1v1s. I'm no Ragnar, for example. But at least some basic stuff that this user, for example, has messed up with, I can help you out with. Now, Nubs could have just stayed there and degunned all of that as it was all grouped up, and that wouldn't have been nothing. Nothing to worry about at all. He has the energy to fire, so that's fine. And there he goes. Perfectly under control. And now we see a transition here from blitzes to Janices and tanks. Good amount of construction turrets here. Probably way too many than what he actually needs. As we see more energy being built. At this point, he's actually got way too much energy. He could probably stop building energy. He does finally have an engineer going out here. And now, one thing that none of these players have actually looked at is on this map, these metal extractors here, this one, this one, this one, and this one here, provide a substantial amount of metal. 3.6, as opposed to the 1.9 on the rest of the map. Normally, on this sort of a map, the fighting is generally localized in those locations, because it's very important to get that extra metal there. As we see the first actual part of fighting here. The fact that Tiger Roll has gotten right to this bottom corner here with no contest is not good. So, what's Notorious Nubs doing wrong right now? Okay, so not enough units. Warriors, Centurions, sorry, is what they're called now. Centurions, not a bad shout, but at the same time, they're too expensive. Now that he's transitioned to Stouts, Tiger Roll is, he really needs to be building something that's not them. So what he should probably be building is maces. Maces are like the tank-ish equivalent in bot form. They're plasma-based, fairly decent range, pretty tanky, and that's probably what he should be building. What he can also do to assist that then is build some Lazaruses to support them and repair them behind. That is a good shout for that. He's also... what's his vision like right now? He has 0 vision. So he really needs more radars up. And this tank is probably going to get all the way around the back here with nothing to stop it. Notorious probably has too many engineers. He's just constantly pumping out engineers right now. Like, he doesn't need engineers. He needs units. As we see that force there come off, that is not going to do anything against it. The Janices are very, very good at dealing with bots. And the Centurions are more made for anti-swarm based stuff. As you can see, they're doing like nothing to that. And they will die pretty quickly under that fire. Also, in case you didn't know this as well, laser weapons that you can see here from the Centurion do less damage at long distance. So for them to get full damage out, you need to get them up close. And that basically means that, you know, they're for anti-swarm. Therefore, if your enemy is rushing you with a bunch of pawns, the pawns are going to get up close and you're good. Tiger Roll has nothing to worry about this coming up. And unfortunately, Notorious just built a ridiculous amount of engineers. And the units he's now building are now, unfortunately, not worth it. So, as we zoom out here, it's pretty much game over for Notorious. It's been that way quite a while ago. What can you learn from this? Units. You need units. It's not a tower defense game. You need to have units in order to actually survive in a 1v1. Without units, you're gonna lose. He didn't control any of his area. He went too heavy economy right at the beginning, and because of that, he gave up the entire map, and it's not good. You can see the rate at which he's pumping out units from this top base, and we were seeing tanks coming out every couple of seconds, whereas Notorious has nothing. Another thing, unit types, building Centurions against tanks, not a good idea. Continuing to build pawns against tanks with Janices, also not a good idea. But main thing is expansion. Notorious, you need to expand more. You need to get your comm at your base pretty soon on. You waited way too long to expand. Because of that, you basically forfeited the map. And that is what you did wrong. You bent your construction turrets way too early. Could have just had an engineer on it and that would have done it. So I hope it's been informative for you. Hope you've learned some things. And thank you all for watching. And I'll see you guys next time.